Hello everybody, this is Anuj Tripathi and you are watching the Review Universe. So today we are going to start a series of podcasts where we are going to discuss with multiple authors regarding their books, regarding their experiences and everything we can have from their experiences of life. So today we are going to host a personality who has written a book about agile technologies, in sprint automation, and in sprint automation mastery. So the book is called In Sprint Automation Mastery, and it is written by Mr. Partha Sarathi Samal, co-authored by Saurav Kumar Paulus and Behrang Jayandi. So let's welcome our guest, Mr. Partha Sarathi Samal, and let's see what he have for us from his personal experiences regard doing in sprint automation since last many years. So let's deep dive into this.
So today we have a very special guest joining with us, Mr. Partha Sarathi Samal, who have given his valuable insights with the book called In Sprint Automation Mastery. Hello, sir. Welcome to the show.
Welcome everyone. Jai Shri Ram.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
thanks for having me here. Actually, so this is the book for instant automation, which we have just now written. To begin with, actually, I would just give a brief introduction about myself. I have more than 20 years of experience in the IT industry, worked in different domains, different technologies, and currently working at Paramount as a quality engineering manager. Before I start about my journey, I think it would be incomplete if I don't mention my co-authors. So my co-authors basically are Suresh Kumar Palas. He is a quality engineering architect in my team. I've worked with him for last 3 years, and he's technically very good. The GitHub repos we see in our book has been created by
Yeah.
him, and much kudos to him for all the hard work. And then comes Behrang. He has worked seamlessly on formatting the structure, and he's kind of a jack of all trades. He's worked on CI/CD, SRE, as well as currently working in automation testing. He was one of my first hires, so in my team, so I share a good relationship with him as well. And then we have Sai, whom I met in the hackathon, where we ended up runners up, and eventually ended up creating 6 patents. So this team or group we have created around 6 patents as well, along with the book whatever we are publishing. So I'm very proud of them, and they treat me not as a leader but as an elder brother. So I'm very happy to be part of the team and be part of their journey towards the success of this book.
Okay, definitely. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing the insight. So, the first question will be that who is this book for? That who is going to read this and what they are going to get?
Okay, that's a very good question. So right now we have many books in automation, specifically related to Selenium, BDD, Cucumber, TDD, and likewise, right? But very few talk about how to use them efficiently within the agile workflows. So that's why this book is set apart from the rest or remaining. So we have dwelt into the challenges and how we can overcome them on a regular basis. That's how our book kind of stands apart from the rest of the crowd. And the audience, as you said, the audience is basically all the quality engineers in the QA world who work in Agile, not only the quality engineers, but also the development resources who want to see the value of Agile brought to fore. Because ideally, it's a team game. We work in Agile teams, so we know that it's like it's the developers, QA, SRE, and whoever are part of the team. They need to work in tandem and pair with each other to ensure success. So everyone should be on the same page, and it goes to all the quality leaders as well as the stakeholders like product owners, scrum masters. Everyone should see the prowess that, because right now people have this misnomer that we can't perform in sprint automation within a stipulated period of time. It's a 2 week sprint or 3 week sprint. So those kind of misnomers this book kind of breaks, or the barriers it breaks kind of.
As I am always curious to learn more about this, so could you please explain that what is agile testing is really? As I'm curious to know.
That's good. So agile testing has been in the vicinity for means in my vicinity for around 18 19 years, when I was first introduced the word agile. So agile, as the name suggests, it's like being fit, and agile, like how do you stay agile, like by running, sprinting. So sprint is a part of agile, like it's a tenure. Like what happens is, like normally in a usual waterfall model, any model, right, you work on a software for continuous period of time. like 1 year, and then you deliver it. So what happens after the end of 1 year, right? If the product is not as per the satisfaction of the end user, you have to hash that and kind of get started. So
Hmm.
that 1 year of effort, resources, money, everything goes to waste. So what if the end user, right, he sees a prototype, how it is being built, right? Say for example, take an example of a cycle, right? You just take a tire and show it, okay, this is the right kind of tire, it can run portable, and they are happy with it. Then you kind of integrate it with like a pedal and other structures of a cycle, handle and everything else. They like it. So the handle is working fine, the tire is working fine, integrated together. Okay, we are good with this. So they don't want you to kind of stash that when as and when. So periodically you will be giving some delivery to the end user, so they are happy. And your product, and if they want enhancements, right? Okay, the seat has to be higher because of the uh, you can say the users are of this age group, so we want the seat to be higher. You can modify it then only. You don't have to wait for end of 1 year. So periodic releases over a period of time. There are different patterns to it, like XP, we have Crystal, we have Scrum, and different time to technologies. But that is the basic essence of agile, like periodic deliveries with regular feedback, so that you can incorporate that seamlessly, and the end user doesn't have to wait for a certain period of time, like to see the prototype or to see the end game of it.
That's really a great answer, and with the example also. So, what level of experience is required to read this book? As can I read this book as a beginner?
Yeah, you can definitely read it as a beginner, but some level of coding expertise or basic coding expertise. It's not like we have gone at a granular level explaining how things are explained, or you can say we are using Java language preferably to explain our code, but it is not a language agnostic. As I say, if you have knowledge of Python or JavaScript or something, still you
Hmm.
can use this. So our goal is not to sell a language or a platform or anything as such, it's to sell an idea. The idea is like whether instant automation is possible right now.
Yep.
As I said, right, people are kind of skeptical about it, right? And whether it can't be done. So anyways, if development can be done in a sprint, why not automation, right? That's the idea we are trying to sell.
Okay. So, what tool or and frameworks covered in this book? As you said, we are going to learn about Java and JavaScript basic knowledge. So, what are the specific tools and frameworks?
Yeah, so we have covered other normal frameworks like BDD, and they're based out of page object model framework with Java, and those are the main frameworks using Cucumber, and we have kind of laid out like the reporting structure with LEO reports, extent reports, and those are the reporting structures as well. So those are the main tools and technologies, but we have used the main essence or core of Java with those kind of technologies or the frameworks we are talking about. And we have also covered the Selenium grid, and with different kind of cloud providers like BrowserStack, Lambda Test, and even with Selenium Grid, as I said. So we have tried to keep it mostly open source. However, as and when resources need to transition it or run it over a cloud or structure which their company has already, that can be also seamlessly tried out.
So to make it more easier to the audience, I would like to know that what are the basic educational qualification is required to move on this field? As I am a BCA grad, okay,
Okay.
and okay, my friends are some of them are NIT, some of them are doing a basic CS engineering. So is it going to be helpful for them also?
Yeah, first of all, the only requirement from your side is the mindset and intent. If you had the mindset and intent, then there is definitely no reason, and you have need to have some reasoning or idea of object oriented programming, how it is done in real world. It could be C++, whatever you know, right? More of
Definitely.
and basically it's taught in our schools, I guess, right? Java is also being taught in
Yeah.
our school. So if you know basic Java, core Java, you can definitely seamlessly take it into as a duck into water kind of thing. So it's not challenging as such. It's not like involves intricate coding or something as such, or you can say advanced Java concept which you need to really learn. So these are frameworks which will kind of guide you into the flows as you need to do, and there are a lot of help help available, as it's an open source, as I said. So once you get started, right, is it like it's more practical, right? Once you try, you fail, definitely you will get all the help from people available there. Let's say tons of quality engineers available there who can definitely help you in your vicinity, or if not, then we are always there to reach out. Like you can reach out to my LinkedIn or anywhere else. So definitely I can guide you in that. But to start with, you don't need much technical jargons, or as I said, mindset and intent is more than enough to carry you forward.
Thank you so much, sir, for explaining this. I will definitely integrate your LinkedIn also, so that
Yep.
people can directly reach out to you. So the next question will be, does the book include any real life examples and or something?
Yeah, the book does include real life examples. We have covered a lot of realistic examples, how things are done in the real world, and how we saved a lot of time for the end user. Like what happens is that people think that everything can be automated. No, no, not everything can't be automated. There are certain things which can be automated and certain things can. We have to be realistic about it, right? In a sprint, because what happens is that the developer, they end up sharing the code of that particular feature on the seventh or eighth day. There are 10 days sprint, right? So that kind of thing happens, but you can start creating, right? So you have to have a coordination with the manual resource as well. And you are the one who is performing manual and automation. You can create certain tasks, like you can do a bifurcation of how much percentage has to be there for manual, has how many percentage you can automate. But as you gain more maturity in the process, the automation percentage will increase. But at the same time, it should not be a roadblocker. So your automation, what is there, what the end user is expecting, or the stakeholders expecting in a sprint review or in a demo, that should be going forward. So it should not be a roadblock as such. But at the same time, it, as I said, we are talking about less experience to more experience. As you go and gain more experience, you'll be creating more automation. And once you have a suit, you'll have more reusability, so you can impart that into your structure as well. So that's what I say. We have there are tons, like we have used in, means I have personally used in banking industries as well as retail, all this concept. But yeah, definitely it's not easy, but yeah, we are not born to do easy things as well, right?
Definitely, sir. So I would like to go more on the journey of the book. So how this the idea of the book came, that you said you have your co-authors. So you work on the same place. I have seen that you are all working on Paramount.
Yeah, necessity is the mother of invention, they say, right? So there were some requirements in projects where we were handling these challenges, where we thought like, why not, right? Why it is not possible? Let us throw our all our hands together and see why it is not possible. So we implemented some small POCs, and we did that across API. And yeah, I just forgot to mention, we have covered API as well, as along with UI functional testing of that concept. And yeah, just a small snippet, like the part two of the book will cover more of mobile, OTT, and other domains, as and when we are able to jot down those points. So API, as I said, they are ideal candidate for API in instant automation. So because execution of it doesn't take much time, and the endpoints, whatever are available, if they are available to us at certain point of time, then we can always create our tests around it. It could be BDD, it could be REST assured based test ng, or anything what we are talking about. So those were initial kind of helpers to us to start with instant automation. But the long-term journeys, like you do partial API and do handover to UI, some such certain things which can be done with API and UI, and then come back to API and do. But our goal is to ensure an end-to-end flow, where all together help for regression, smoke, whatever. But that's the basic goal why we found the necessity. It was more of a necessity why we came up with this.
Would like to know that what are the real world case studies or examples are included in the book to illustrate successful instant automation practices?
Yeah, we had a huge problem with flaky test, right? The automation suite was unreliable, and test failures slowed down the deployments, basically. So we analyzed those failures and found that 60% were due to because of unstable code and UI elements, which were kind of fluctuating and port test driven. We're shifting more to API, as I said. We shifted the test cases or scenarios to API level and implementing better test strategies. We could cut down those flaky tests by around 50%, and that could more of optimize the test execution times. And we integrated them into the CI/CD pipeline as well, which kind of reduced our overall testing time by similarly half, 40% to 50%. So that's what I exactly cover in those sprint automation real world actionable solutions, which can be applied seamlessly.
Okay. So how does your book help new testers who are new to automation or transitioning from manual testing?
Yeah, definitely. So as I said, right, it's about more maturity. Like they are doing manual testing, they can start with execution of automation tests to start with, not to like you don't take much in your plate that than you can eat, kind of, right? So that's what they need to understand how automation is being done by running those tests, by seeing the results, by starting with fixing those bugs they see on a regular basis, what kind of bugs we see, and then once they are acclimatized with the code and in the meanwhile they will kind of, if they have not learned about java or any language per se, because any code or script they needs a language, right, to run it. So once they get acclimatized with their favorable language, not that they have to. So selenium is something we are using there is playwright, there is a lot of things. I'm not patronizing that selenium has to be used, but in web uh, and we have like apm and other things for mobile as well. So whatever suits them, whatever they are comfortable with, whatever the comfort zone based on their language skills and all, they can choose that and try to work on certain things like slow but surely, as I said. So by solving problems, maintenance of the test case, then start creating new test case and looking at what all things can be reusable and taking help from people. There shouldn't be no hesitation to ask people for help. That is what people or I think I have seen in the last 2 decades, like people hesitant that whether I'll be held in a low self-esteem, that if I ask questions, it's an ego issue as well. But yeah, definitely, whenever you are in need of something, put your hand and there will be a lot of people to help you out.
So if you could give one piece of advice to a company who is struggling with agile testing automation, what would it be?
Basically, I would say you need to prioritize what to automate, right? Not everything can be automated within a sprint. Focus on the high value tests like the regression test, api test, and critical user flow. And we all talk about the testing triangle, shift left approach and all. So they're good to talk, but to implement also we shouldn't start that the testing and development should we should not wait for the testing to start after development. So shift left means start writing the automation test script as soon as the development begins parallelly. So you're saving time, right? You do things in parallel, you are saving that kind of time, and you are providing feedback. So tdd ATDD, or those kind of approaches do help. And CI/CD and continuous testing definitely is there. And it's not that we have to depend on a specific SRE team or DevOps for CI/CD. So basic things regarding automation tests, how to run them on CI/CD pipelines should be kind of known to the resources, and that comes with more expertise and how you put in a Jenkins pipeline. So these will ensure kind of continuous feedback, and it will avoid manual testing delays if you put it in a pipeline. And likewise, those will when we have build coming in, so you will know that build is stable enough that you can start testing. So it is basically balancing the UI and API test, more API, as the reverse triangle talks about, like 85% API, and likewise 10-15 UI, and remaining regression, that kind of percentage basis. Yeah, it's not ideal 70-30 or whatever, at least in the higher paradigms that I'm talking about. And last but not the least, cross team collaboration. So as I said, developers, testers, business analysts, or product owners in this case, or everyone has to be on the same page. And those teams which have everyone thinking about the larger goal, not about the individual goals, those teams prosper. Definitely, if you see any team happy and prospering, because everyone's word, because everyone has their own value in the team, and everyone is recognized. They feel recognized, that they will feel like contributing more towards the growth of the project and ultimately lead to the growth of the company. So it's test automating all the tests is not responsibility of a one person, right? So once the something is product is quality tested, it bears fruit to like how the product was developed, how kind of or automation tests do, right?
Definitely.
And if there are flaky tests, tackle them head on, like parallel execution, ensure they're stable, reliable, write some mock data, syncing, right? Because sometimes we don't have sync mechanism in place, retry mechanisms, those kind of things you need to try it out to ensure that the flaky tests don't spoil your end game, basically. So those are not application related issues; those are test related issues which we can or should address ideally. So those are the things I think ideally for any organization to prosper. I would ideally think if they can have the things checklist or the checklist ticked off.
So, as you said that automation is not easy. So, why sprint automation is hard?
Okay, so Yeah, they said a few things already, right? Flaky tests are one, right? If the test fail, if the tests keep on failing, then you don't have time. In 10 days or whatever time frame, you will not have time to them. So in that way, I talk about prioritizing those tests and or improving the data management, implementing those retry mechanisms, those kind of things take care of the flaky test. And then we have time constraint. Time is a big factor, like 10 days or whatever time frame we're talking about. They're short, and teams, the mindset, we don't have time for automation. They may have time, but the first thought is we don't have time for automation. So skipping automation leads to what do we try to skip automation? It will lead to bottleneck in the later sprint. Why didn't we perform automation? Because we performed a very small coverage or whatever area we are talking about. So those are the like strategies I've talked about in my book is related to incremental automation, right? Automating small but high value test cases in each sprint instead of trying to automate everything. So everything can't be done. Means you can't make everyone happy. Likewise, you can't do everything. So that's one thing. And the tool overload, right? We kind of, as I said, teams struggle to do CI/CD pipelines effectively. Right? Choosing the right tool, it's just not about this is the trending technology. Let's take this tool. It's not that. As I said, no, say the same size of the shoe doesn't fit all, right? Likewise, you need to see what fits you. So choose it based on your technology. It could be a Cypress test which the developers are using. You could reuse that. It could be, and then going ahead, you could use chai, mocha, whatever. Doesn't matter to whatever you are using, but it matters like what makes you comfortable and what makes the organization go move. Whatever fits the workflow and the tech stack. Go. As I said, last but not least, the cross team collaboration is something which needs to be taken care of.
How can somebody master the instant automation?
Yeah, by as we talk about the problems, we need to take care of, ensure that all these things are taken care of, right? Uh, mastering, yeah, as I mentioned book talking about mastering, but they will reach that level where they can comfortably do start doing intent automation by ensuring that everyone on the same page and the team members, they understand the nuances of the trade, and agile is treated as agile. Because I have seen in many organizations people use agile for the sake of agile. They safe is a larger part of agile like we use, but program portfolio kind of things. But if we falter at the beginner level, you can't, like, if you don't do well, I follow cricket a lot. So if you don't do good in domestic, there is no reason, no way you can go for the national team, right? So and start complaining that you're not getting done. So that's how it happens. You need to have a basics intact. All the basics fundamentals has to be taken care of. Then only you can think of going or progressing or moving ahead in that track. So all those things have to be taken at a granular. But as I said, anything you do, you need to have the right mindset and support of the organization you're working on. So those things definitely help. But don't means there whenever you are trying to do something, right, there will be a lot of times you will feel dragged down by expectations and all. So if not, try to do a POC. It's not like you have to do in a sprint. Try to do a POC and see how it succeeds, and based on that, it's agile is feedback, right? You write feedback on or take the feedback from stakeholders, why it failed, and try to work on it. It's not that if you don't try, then you'll never do, right? Likewise, you take the experiences and feedback and try to improve on.
Okay. So as you are already experienced one in the instant automation, so you are the right person. What are the common mistakes and how to avoid them as a beginner?
Yeah, the one I already hinted at, right? As I said, we try to automate everything in one sprint, right? Automation basically is an investment. You will not get the ROI immediately. So you will create test creation as the main time taking job. Execution is kind of, maintenance is another. So you will release the values of automation over a period of time. It's not that it will happen immediately. So you need to understand that. So based on that investment, you need to deliver. Don't think that what can be delivered at a later point in time, what immediately can be delivered within that sprint, try to automate that. Means focus on one particular thing, as I said, and do partial distribution across manual and automation. And as you have more maturity, try to distribute that effort more towards automation. And never ignore the test data and environment issues. So environment issues is something which does kick in. Environment issues not in testing, but in our current where we live and prosper, the environment does impact. Like in Delhi, if there is smog or whatever pollution, people try to avoid that and try to stay indoors. Likewise, right, you will try to prevent yourself from getting tangled in that environment issue. So those environment issue cause a lot of application related issue, because in one environment it will be working fine, and another environment will be failing. So the development team, when you reach out to development team, they will always have an excuse saying that it works in this environment, higher environment, and not in low. So that kind of seamless flow from one environment to another environment has to be coordinated with SRE or DevOps or whoever, whichever team prepares the build. So test data, as I said, environment in different environment there will be different test data. So try to work with those teams to have similar kind of data, if not exact, so that your tests, you don't have to modify your test every time for a one environment. You don't end up spending like hours for just changing the environment parameterization or data and see that it is failing because of test data, right? And last but not the least, lack of developer involvement. So what I have seen, like development and QA are treated differently. They are not different. uh, I think they are together. So if you are working in the same company and end result, like someone is a start, someone is the end, or maybe both are in the middle working together, so and the end result benefits both of them, so they should work hand in hand. So when the developers and QA work together, as I said, in successful teams, the automation improves. So when the developers are creating unit tests, right, they need to create in such a manner that the unit testing, the earlier you find a bug, the better it is. We all know, right? And the more revenue or whatever is spent once you move down the chain. So if the code quality or application is stable enough, right, and automation thrives on stability. So those kind of coordination, it happens early on, then that helps, because the QA will be able to point out, oh, this thing is something which, and sharing the unit test results definitely helps. So encouraging the developers to contribute more towards test automation is something I would like ideal world. And in the same time, right, QA should always be open to share their feedback, their part, and working in pair programming on test driven development, where they write test and it fails, then when the developers start working on the actual code and it passes. So those kind of things do help, but that's the long term vision, but both have to work in tandem to ensure that it is a success.
Planning to write any follow-up book or deep diver into specific area of test automation?
Yeah, as I said, initially when I started the book, it went into like 300 400 pages. I didn't want people to feel bored about it, what they are trying targeting. And as I said, the next part of the book will cover all the nuances of mobile automation, as well as OTT platform automation, which is a challenging aspect as well. And there will be other parts also, like all the best practices, or all the value, all the feedback we get from this book, or all the uh, value adds, what we want to see as from the uh, what the issues we have faced, try to tackle that, and try to fix some of those issues, not all, but yeah, try to come up with a better book which has dealt with all those issues from a user point of view, or from a QA point of view, or in-depth point of view, basically for the IT world, whatever kind of resonates with them, that kind of approach we are taking. But yeah, it's still a far-fetched approach, but I'm just giving you little snippets on whatever we have thought of so far.
So, what one key takeaway you had like to the readers to remember after finishing your book?
At least remember the concept basically, and think that agile testing can be done in a sprint, and it's definitely a realistic thought. And if someone says it can't be done, then you can swear by this book, okay, it can be done, it has been done before.
Where are these books are available on Amazon Goodreads, or are there
Yeah.
any medium where anybody can download the free sample or all?
Yeah, so we have a website, I think, where we have given some details about it. The book is available in India in Amazon.in, Flipkart, and I think all the online versions are also available. Likewise, in Kobo and other sites.
Can
In
you just show the
US,
book one more time? Can you just okay? So everybody can read the name, and we will
yeah,
just indicate this on the video also.
yeah,
Okay.
sure.
So thank you so much, sir, for your feedbacks. For your feedbacks on the books.
Yeah, I will take. I'm very candid with my approaches, so I will talk the good things and the bad things. Bad things are not many. So the good thing is that the attention to detail. The when I shared the material with you and you work with me closely in tandem, like as agile, as I said. So we shared details, what we want to see and what we wanted to discuss, and how we wanted to reach out to the end users, and the approach I really like. The only thing it got delayed because I think it was from you guys
Yeah.
were held up with other work as job as well.
Definitely.
So that was the only thing. But yeah, I don't kind of frown on that as such. But yeah, it was really great working with you guys, and you delivered as such when the timelines were, and it was really great working with you. Thankful.
Thank you so much.
So
Thank you so much, sir.